A public service message of Keep America Beautiful.
The family is in need of direction. If that's ever been true, it's true today. But where does that direction come from? Who do we listen to? Who determines the standards? This month on Day of Discovery, Mark DeHaan and a panel of family counselors discuss answers the Bible gives to crucial questions.
Hey, Chad.
Crowd here kind of looks like a Baptist church. Everybody's sitting in the background. I don't know what's going on here. Let me get to some of the important details first. Ladies, the restroom. Go out this door, turn left again. You'll have it made. It's just right there on the other side of this wall in the hallway. Gentlemen, yours is a little bit more difficult. You got to go into the office. And I've closed all the doors except the important ones, okay? So you just start going back that hallway in the office, and all the doors are closed. The last door on the left-hand side, you go in that door, and behind the door is the men's restroom. I'd like to welcome a couple of very special guests that we have tonight. You all are special, I know that, because you are the parents of these children. We have a couple of school board members, Mr. Sam Box. Mr. Sam, raise your head up, and Mr. William Reed. I would ask Mr. Box to come up and say a word or two, but in case you don't know, he's running for mayor, and I'm afraid I'm trying to make it a political speech, so I'm not going to ask either one of them to come up. As we were preparing today for this contest, one of the gentlemen, as they came into the door, said that he had graduated from this school and it had changed a lot since he graduated. So I got to thinking about that, and I remembered some text that I had read somewhere, and I wouldn't pull it out. You know, schools have changed in the last few years. This was a description of a school and the duties of that school about the turn of the century. This is what children did when they went to school in the early 1900s. Students each day will fill lamps, clean chimneys, trim wicks, and wash windows once a week. Each student will bring a bucket of water and a bucket of coal for the day's classes. Each student will make their pens carefully. You may not whittle the nibs of your pen to individual taste. You must follow pen trimming rule number 4. Male students will be given one evening each week for courtship, or 2 evenings a week if they go regularly to church. There will be no intra-school courting during school hours. After 13 hours of labor in the classroom, the students should spend the remaining time reading the Bible and other good books. So things have changed, haven't they? As these individual students come up and speak to you tonight, you may notice that a lot of them will be smiling. And there's a reason for that. I was in some of the classes as they were preparing for their speeches. And one of the teachers told them, don't be nervous. You get nervous and start getting frowny. Think about all these people out here without any clothes on. So if you see a lot of smiles, you know what they're thinking about, right? We do welcome you to our contest tonight. I welcome the students. You know, this is the first one of these oratorical contests that we've had in the 15 years that I've been associated with the Whitman Schools. I hope it becomes an annual event. I think that this is a real education for these students. And every one of these students is a winner by simply being here today. Just think about how much courage it takes to get up and speak to parents. And so I congratulate them, and I'm looking forward to listening to those speakers. I would ask that as these individual students come to speak that we be as quiet as possible, that there be as little moving as possible. We have quite a few students, and this is going to take a little while for all of our students to be able to participate. I hope that you give them the same attention for the first student that you give for the last student. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Hayes, who's going to give some general directions on the scoring, and then we will begin to have our speakers.
I'm Horace Hayes, and I will serve as your announcer of ceremonies for the evening. And we will begin our program with the invocation of Mr. Donald Van, followed by a welcome by Mr. William Arrington. At this time, we'll have an invocation.
Our Father and our God, it is again a few of your believing children has come. And as we come with open hearts and bowed heads. We come, our Father, as an uncle child would come when he or she knows that they are alone. First, thanking you for the many blessings that you have stored upon us. Father, you slept with us all night long last night, as we slumbered and slept as if though that we were dead. And if by chance you had to leave the room for some reason or another, you left an angel to watch over us, so that no harm and no danger would fall upon us. We'd just like to thank you for it. Father, you was present at our bedside this morning, touched us with a fingertip of love, and have allowed us to face a day that we've never faced before. Again, we'd like to thank you for it. Father, not only were you present at our bedside this morning, not only did you sleep with us all night long last night, but you had the audacity to clothe us within our right mind and have allowed us to carry on another day's journey. Father, some people have called you a light in the dark. Others have called you a way out of nowhere. But we here tonight would like to call you a legion post where you have never, ever gave away. Father, search our hearts and minds. If you find anything that is not acceptable in your sight, then we ask you to move. Cast it out. Get rid of it. Help us that we may help ourselves. Realizing that we're not promised in our ways. None of us are. Each and every one of us that sits in this room one day must lay down to die. But when our time comes, we ask you to give us that understanding. Give us that knowledge that we too will have a home in your kingdom. Prayer that I prayed at this hour, and others who are praying as well. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Good evening. I would like to welcome you to Blue Optimus's first auditorium contest. The purpose of this contest is to allow the youth of our community to exhibit their speaking ability. The official subject for this contest is Challenge the Summer. And tonight we have an array of students from Clark County who are prepared to challenge the summer. I would like for you to sit back and enjoy the program, for I'm sure you will be very interested. Thank you. This is the first stage in the Optimus International Oratorical Contest. These inspiring young people are now embarking on what may be a long and successful journey. The official subject for our contest is Challenge the Summit. We as Optimus members believe the subject to be both educational and challenging. The contestants must speak no more than 5 minutes and no less than 4 minutes to avoid penalties. The contestants have drawn for their speaking order, and they will be called by the alphabet only. I would like to ask the audience for their cooperation in this contest. The audience should remain seated while contestants are speaking. No smoking will be permitted at all in this room. And also, no photographs should be taken while the contestants are speaking. There will be an opportunity for photographs at the end of the program. Our final request, and probably the most important one, is we ask that each and every one of you hold your applause until each contestant has spoken. Thank you. At this time, if our judges and our timekeeper are ready, we will begin our speaking. Contestant A.
Challenge the summit. Challenge the summit by doing your best. You must climb the middle mountain before you can do anything. To climb the middle mountain, you must have the right equipment. The equipment isn't rope and hook. It's mental equipment. Courage, knowledge, and endurance. You must gather and build on these skills before you can do anything. Climbing the middle mountain may be a frightful experience. Through it all, you must have the courage to continue, no matter what happens. You must have the courage to do what needs to be done, no matter how bad it might seem. For the worst of it all, you must have the courage to continue. That is why you need to develop this skill. The second piece of equipment is knowledge. This is most important because it is necessary to have knowledge to do anything. You have to know how to climb before you can climb the middle mountain. It takes knowledge to know how to do anything, even eat. The next piece of equipment is endurance. It is what keeps us going when the going gets tough. This is what kept Christopher Columbus sailing when his crew wanted to turn around. This kept Magellan's ship going till it had circled the earth. On May 29, 1953, Sir Edmund P. Hillary and Tenzing Norgay struggled to the summit of Mount Everest. Before either man could make the climb, he had to work on his equipment. This is what it takes to challenge any summit. Remember, courage, knowledge, and endurance. The next time you challenge the summit.
Challenge the summit. Everyone in some time in their life has tried really hard to get something. But when the time came, that person did not get what he or she wanted. It takes courage, endurance, patience, and strength to go out and get something. Without those 4 elements, a person cannot succeed to the best of their ability in life. It takes courage because you must be brave to go up against the odds. You must be brave because you know you might not do too well. You must have endurance to stick to what you are doing. Without staying with what you are trying to get, there is no way that you can reach your goals. People who quit are losers, and people who do not quit are winners. You have to stand up against the people who want to tear you down, because if you don't, they will tear you down. Mr. Noah Webster defined patience as calm endurance without complaint. You must not have an attitude like, I'll do this, but I don't want to. If you have that kind of an attitude, you will never reach your goals. And if you complain about what you're doing, people will probably think that you have not worked very hard on your goals. If you are not calm, there's no way that you can reach the summit of your goals. You must have both physical and mental strength. You must have physical strength because you have to go out and work to reach the summit. You have to challenge many things to reach the summit. You have to challenge people, events, and even things. You also need mental strength to plot out what you need to do to reach your goals. You also need mental strength to deal with stress related to your goals. All of these things and many, many more are needed to reach the goal that you set for yourself. Thank you.
I'd like to contestant B for the judge's benefit. And I'd like to remind the audience to try to be quiet as possible when the contestants are speaking, and try not to move when the contestants are speaking. All right, contestant C.
Challenge the summit. Challenging the summit may mean a different thing to you than what it means to others. But to everyone, it makes you proud when you finally reach that summit you've been working so hard to reach. For some to be proud, it may mean owning a huge business. And to others, it may mean just working at a small coffee shop. To Helen Keller, it meant being able to communicate with others. She fought and fought, and finally she reached her dreams of writing and speaking. This is proof that you can't just go out into the world and expect for your dreams to come to you. You have to fight for it. What does Challenge the Summit really mean to you? Does it mean being the President of the United States one day? Or does it mean owning a small record shop? Many different people have many different summits that they challenge. That's what makes each individual person a real individual inside. What would the world be if there were no individuals? For example, look at the person beside you. You can probably name at least 20 things that are different between you and that person. One of those things is that you have different summits you challenge. Some people's summits are good, and other people's summits have summits that are not too well. Maybe you've heard the story about the little boy who had the wrong idea about challenges. One lady was walking down the street and saw this little boy trying to reach the doorbell. She went up to him and picked him up so he could ring it. After he rung it, she asked him, "What do we do now?" He replied in a happy voice, "Run like crazy." Perhaps this boy did not know the difference between right and wrong. Many grown-ups, like this little boy, have a wrong and a very different impression about life. They think their job in life is to make money. Stealing, drug dealing, counterfeiting, gambling, I could go on. These are all dishonest ways to make money, or so-called the easy way. Even though some people have wrong challenges, there are people who have good challenges too. Back in the 15 to 1800s, people had many different summits that are very important to us today as Americans. What if explorers had not wanted to get to India? Would we be in this country today? What if patriots wouldn't have had the nerve to stand up and fight for independence? Would we have freedom? Many people are challenging the summits today, all around us, as individuals, communities, countries, and even worldwide. We're trying to stop pollution, to decide what to do about nuclear weapons, to have world peace, find more about our solar system, and as individuals, trying to be the very best we can possibly be. To maintain these challenges, it takes us, as human beings, to pull together and to work together. Because we're here, together, trying to challenge our own summits, even though the challenge is great.
Contestant D.
Challenge the summit. To challenge the summit means to strive for the highest peak of achievement that I am able to attain. Each person should at least try to reach his own summit. If one doesn't, one will never know how much potential he really has. Some people could be modern-day Einsteins and never know it because they never took the time to put forth the effort required to reach their highest potential or to attain their personal goals. Setting goals is very influential in attaining the summit, because without goals, there would be nothing to strive for. Goals help people make career choices. The attainment of goals helps with the cultivation of self-discipline, self-confidence, and character. TV, you have heard people say, the road to success is always under construction. This statement is true, because there is never ultimate success. If a person has reached some level of success and stops trying at that point, there will be others to go even further and pass him. To me, success is a term which we use loosely, because there are different levels of success for different people. For example, if an unemployed person has spent most of his life in the slum area of a large city, and eventually he got a good paying job and a nice house, he would consider that to be a certain level of success. I stated earlier that there are no limitations on success. As a person achieves success, it aids him by making him a more mature and more responsible person. Take, for example, a situation of a young child from a poor family. He's in school. He has been a class clown for most of his school life. Gradually, this child matures. He begins to do his schoolwork with more attentiveness, and as the mature side of him evolves, he starts to discipline himself. Therefore, he begins to pay more attention to where he is going in life and attempts to avoid foolish actions that will get the attention of his peers. In doing so, he makes great strides to reach his personal goal or to attain some in his chosen career. Before I choose a career, I will need to know what preparations should be made to succeed in that career. I would also need to pursue various training in my chosen career. After this training has been completed, I will need to put forth the effort to practice those skills. As a person striving for his summit, he should always remember the people and the things that enable him to do so, whether it be his parents, his teachers, or his family members. In closing, I'd like to leave you with a quotation from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Execute every act of thy life as though it were thy last.
Excuse me, we're going to let the contestants just keep going. I think we can keep up a little better, maybe a little bit faster that way. This is contestant E.
Challenge the summit. Each year, many people challenge the summit. Some people challenge the summit with contests. In every contest, no matter how many people win, some will win and some will lose. The science fair is one contest with only a few winners. If you're lucky enough to come in first, second, third in your division, that spring you'll go to district science fair. It's not all fun because you have to stand out on the floor for sometimes up to 3 hours waiting to be judged. Grades 2 through 12 are at the district. For some people, it's a real challenge to keep up with third grade. If your project is good enough, you get to challenge some of the best science projects in the state, and you go to the state science fair. Art contests, like the science fair, are held each year. Many people enter, but only a few win. There are different kinds of art, such as folk art. Folk art is when the artists do not have any training. Folk art is more interesting because everything doesn't have to be a certain size or shape. Another art is when the artists have training. This type of art is usually worth more money than folk art. It has more seriousness to me than other types of art. Skateboarding is a very popular sport in this area. As most sports do, it has contests. All skateboard contests have rounds. There are many tricks that are capable on the round, but only the best can perform the hardest tricks. Snow skiing is also a fun sport with contests. Snow skiing is a worldwide sport. Skiers must choose their equipment very carefully. You must have the right boots, the right skis for the kind of skiing you're doing, and the right clothes. Skiing is very complex when it comes to contests. Sometimes the race might be won within a hundredth of a second. Usually the first few skiers have the advantage because the snow has begun to turn into slush or ice. There are many great athletes who challenge the undefeated for the past few years, is a multimillionaire that goes by the name of Mike Tyson. Mike challenges the summit every time he steps into the ring. And Mike has confidence in himself, which makes him such a great boxer. Police officers challenge the summit in a very big way. Every day when a police officer goes out on the street, they have to wonder whether they're going to make it back home alive. But that risk comes with the job, so they're prepared for anything that could happen. As I said earlier, no matter how many people challenge the summit, not everyone can succeed. If you're in a situation where you must challenge the summit, challenge it with all you have and hope for the best.
Challenge the summit. What does challenging the summit mean? Is it to do your best or maybe to solve a problem? There are really a lot of different meanings because many people perceive it differently. One misleading interpretation is to dream to be the best that you can be. It is all right to dream so long as you do something or try to do something about it. A long time ago in a little town in Alabama, a little boy had a dream to end racism. When the little boy became a young man, he saw a black lady arrested because she wouldn't stand up on the bus to let a white teenager have her seat. From that day on, the young man was determined to end the unjustified racism in the United States of America. Today we know this man as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I think men and women like him are true succeeders in life who have definitely challenged the summit. A good interpretation of challenge the summit is to go for the goal or reach for the sky. Christa McCullough's goal was to go to space, to be the first teacher to go up in a space shuttle. But on the day of liftoff, her dreams were shattered when 6 Challenger crew members and she were killed in the drastic explosion of the Challenger. Christa McCullough definitely went for the goal and challenged the summit despite the tragedy. Dare to dream, yet another man who challenged the summit. Means to take a great risk or possible loss to fulfill a dream. Father Joe Carroll, a crippled man, set out to help the homeless, full of cold and lonely heart of warmth and affection. With his work and the help of all his contributors, they were responsible for a $7 million complex to house a clinic, school, library, children's play area, room enough for 350 homeless people, and a kitchen that put out 2,000 meals a day for the homeless. People like these are unsung heroes of the world who have challenged the summit. Even people who don't succeed with their dreams still have reasons to be triumphant because they tried something not all people have tried. The cold air rushed into his face. The sound of metal against ice danced in the air while streaks of red, white, and blue trailed behind the whizzing man. All of a sudden, the man pulls ahead of everyone else and passes the finish line. The description you have just heard is that of a person who challenged the summit, did his best, and reached his goal. The man was a member of the United States Olympic team. This team illustrates another man who challenged the summit. That interpretation is do your best or be the best that you can. Many people don't do their best simply because they're lazy or just don't want to. This is the wrong attitude to take if you want to succeed in life and not just survive. Finally, another man who challenged the summit is to be all that you can be, or to live up to your potential. The main difference between this and doing your best is that if you really live up to your potential, you will do better than what you thought was the best you could do. If you live up to your potential, you have really challenged the summit. I found that challenging the summit means all of these things. It means to go for the goal, dare to dream, do your best, and be all that you can be. Thank you.
Challenge the summit. Challenging the summit is a so-called risk. Risk can mean different things. What do you think of when someone says the word risk? until he died, he had always worked hard. As he got older, he had his ups and downs with things, but he kept on trying. He had jobs of many kinds. They were all active and imaginative, just like mine. By believing in himself, he developed a very famous substance, the barn and baby substance. And by that, he achieved his goal. That was how he was named the greatest showman on earth. Both of these men believed in themselves, and by that, they became what they wanted to be. But it didn't just happen. They had to work hard for it, and it did take a lot of work. If we want to achieve our goals, we might have to do a lot of work.
white men have problems. Hate would cause war between the two. Hate and jealousy feelings even can cause war between two best friends. It just shouldn't be that way. If there was just a little magical touch, something to touch hearts and lives, something could be good. That little touch of magic could be the song we are the world, because we are. We are the ones who make a brighter day. Just because people are poorer than other people, they are made fun of. Just think if you were in their shoes. If only people would think of each other the same way as they think of themselves. If we would treat others as we would want to be treated, as the Bible says. I think everyone should think of their neighbors as themselves. That statement makes felicity equal. Just think if a black family moved into your neighborhood, or if a white family moved in, would you make friends with them? Well, you should. This could be your challenge. For some people, a great challenge would just be to walk over and say hi. For other people, go down the street and give that poor family some blankets to remove. Someone else, to meet their greatest challenge, would be to open up an organization for children of all races to meet and play games. If these plans could be carried out, you might could abolish some of these problems. Maybe you could do all of these. Maybe you could do only one of these. But if you do only one of these things, it could make a big difference. Go out, try it. It might make the world a better place if someone else so happy.
Challenge the Summit. I shall speak to you today on the topic Challenge the Summit. My goal in life are three different job options. They are either a banker, a businessman, or an accountant. I'm working hard in school so that one day, whichever one I decide to be, it will come true. I need to also work hard in school, so hopefully I can get a scholarship to go to college. My options require time and hard study, so I'm going to fulfill that. My parents tell me that life is hard, and the only way to make it, I have to go to school, college, and a specialized school that teaches the skills of the job that I decide to take, such as business. My friends told me while I went to the high school that some of the teachers are hard. I was hoping that I could take some of those classes for the challenge. Those are the teachers that better prepare you for higher grades, schools, and most of all, life. Another way to accomplish my goals is by discipline. I can't be lazy, uncaring, or have an excuse for everything that goes wrong. I tell myself, don't think of excuses to fail, just reasons to succeed. The reasons to succeed are for my family, my friends, my reputation, experience, and most of all, myself. For example, in the 7th grade, I had this very important science project to do. In order to make a good grade on it, I had to sacrifice television, sports, etc. When I entered it in the science fair, I felt good but nervous. Nervous from the competition like I'm having tonight, and good for my grade. I made a 96 on the science project and won honorable mention on it. I also have enthusiasm and self-confidence. I convinced myself to better myself by discipline and my future goals. I have enthusiasm about the things I love and like to do. That's my challenge to the sun. Thank you.
challenges we face are not way out there somewhere, but inside our lives. Jim learned of his strength from his parents, himself, and his faith. It's the small daily challenges we face and overcome that prepare us for larger challenges in life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will be speaking with you this evening on Challenging the Summit. Challenging the Summit should be an ongoing process that is necessary for me to obtain the best life for myself and, if possible, to benefit others around me. From the book Educations by Anna Johnson, I would like to say, the true purpose of education is to cherish and unfold the seed of immortality already sown within us. To develop to their fullest extent the capacities of every kind with which the God who has made us has endowed us. To challenge the summit, one important thing you need to do is attend college and later become a doctor. To me and many others, college is a big step in life and requires much commitment. In my heart, I know that there is enough dedication to fulfill my dreams. In the end, I know that I will not regret any of my hard work and anticipation. Many people never have the opportunity to attend college. However, I like to walk in my parents' footsteps and become successful in life. I will take everything that I have learned into consideration and strive for the best. I feel that a college education is very important and plays a major role in my life. With an education, a person is able to conquer all problems and open many doors otherwise closed to an uneducated person. As a doctor, I'd like to help the sick people of this country. I feel that I am also setting a good example for my family members and friends. Hopefully, I will inspire them to do what is right. My personal opinion of life is that it should be lived to its fullest extent. Once you are happy, you will have much more faith in yourself and be more proud. For instance, a student who has no confidence in himself may never know how intelligent he is until he has reached his own personal goal. Make your goals and strive to complete them. Gradually work towards them and they will be fulfilled. So get a good education and a good start in life. In addition to completing a college education and becoming a doctor, I would someday like to gain worldwide respect of the sick and homeless people of this country. As you look around this country today, you will see many sick and homeless people. I think that it is especially shameful in the capital city. Many homeless and sick people don't have the choice but to live in poverty. For instance, in large cities today, such as Chicago, the schools don't supply this country's youngsters with the education needed to be successful. Also, there are many sick people of this country. There are many diseases that may occur which have no cures. As a doctor, I am going to contribute to society and find cures for these diseases. When I am able to do this, I will be helping others as well as helping myself. In a way, they will be helping me make my own dreams come true. This country is a wonderful place to live, and I feel that everyone should be privileged enough to get the basic things of life needed to be successful. After I've helped other people fulfill their dreams, I will feel that I have overcome all my personal problems. In the Bible it says, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. I am going to live up to these expectations and also the expectations of my family and friends. So live your life and be the best. Begin as though you are building a home. Establish your foundation and gradually work towards completing them. I promise that in the end, you will be a better and more proud person. Go ahead and challenge yourself. Don't wait for everything to be handed to you on a silver platter. It will make you a stronger person Everyone needs a challenge in life. Do your best in whatever you wish to do. I feel that a good education and helping others is the foundation of my personal challenging of the summer. Thank you.
Challenge for some. In other words, be all you can be. Dozens of people today ignore that to get by. That's not enough for me. I want to be the best that I can. I want to challenge for some that is set for me. Christopher Columbus, what does that name mean to you? To a crowd of people, it means the first person to discover America. Christopher Columbus would have been just another name until one day when he decided to challenge the sun. I'm not saying that you will discover a new continent, but you will never get anything done while you're sitting around. Maybe 5 centuries later, a Navy pilot did the unbelievable. From President Robert F. Kennedy's most prized challenge and massive guidance, he reached the moon. This man was, of course, Neil A. Armstrong. Those 2 men bet their son, but some people tried and didn't succeed. One of them is a Baptist minister that ran for president. As a civil rights leader, Jesse Jackson started People United to Serve Humanity in Chicago. Jackson, however, failed to elect. A few years before Jackson, an Alabama governor ran for president. Before the election, he was shot by a sniper and seriously wounded. His legs paralyzed, he still ran for president. He didn't succeed. George Wallace ran again in 1976, but failed to receive the Democratic nomination. As far as people that don't try, they can't keep a job, they drop out of school, or they act up in class. Such people are bad influences. Try not to be like them. Some people in my class are challenging the summer right now on the stock market team. If they want to succeed, they're going to have to sacrifice something. The math council people, however, challenged the summer and defeated it. So get out of that lazy chair and think of something to challenge. Maybe it will be to run that extra mile or get your son or daughter to do their homework. Help your wife with the cooking, or wives, get your husbands to help you cook. Try to go one night without turning on the television set and not getting bored. From that experiment, you should be able to set goals for yourself. The results should surprise you. Challenging the summer isn't very hard, although you can't be lazy. Probably the 3 most challenging people are firemen, policemen, and soldiers. The first one goes into a fiery furnace to save a person or a pet's life. Policemen risk their life for your safety and security. And soldiers go into a bullet-whizzing war zone to save his country.
Challenge the summer. Many people each day challenge the summer or try to make their dreams come true. Some succeed and some fail, but many people are afraid to even try to make their dreams come true. Many teens today drop out of school and are sorry for it later, but many adults who did drop out of school and can't read or write are going back to school. It is a challenge for students today to stay in school and be the very best they can be. It is also a challenge for schools and teachers to try to keep their students interested in school so they won't want to go. People challenge the summit in other ways. A young person has a dream. He challenges the summit by reaching for his goal, which is to become a sergeant. He succeeds. Then, every day, he is challenged. The person who wins, it's a matter of life or death. Hopefully life. Can he save this person? A boy was nearsighted and had asthma, which made him weaker than other boys his age. He was determined, though. He became President of the United States. He was Theodore Roosevelt. Men challenge the summit and set goals before they become president. Then they challenge the summit by talking with other nation leaders and are trying to make peace with their nation and other nations. Astronauts challenged the summit also. Neil Armstrong did. He wanted to be the first man to walk on the moon. He knew that something terrible could happen to him, but he went ahead and tried. He reached his goal. The others, such as Christopher McCall, who wanted to be the first teacher in space, didn't reach their goal. For just a few seconds after liftoff, the Challenger exploded, killing her and the rest of the crew. Christopher McCall's death was a result of her challenge, yet she had tried. She had much courage and determination, and for that we must give her credit. In the Special Olympics, many people challenge the summit by trying to win the game. Some get first, second, or third prize, but everyone is winner and is very proud they were in the Olympics. It is a really big challenge for these people because they are handicapped. This makes them even greater winners because, in some way, they have overcome their handicap. Blind people challenge the summit by getting jobs and leading lives like those of people who aren't blind. This may require a dog to lead them around or a helping hand at some time, but when they have accomplished this goal, they have truly reached the summit. There was a boy in New York who gave a homeless person his blanket. He then asked his parents for other blankets, which he gave to more homeless people. He wanted to do more though, because he knew that could have easily been him or his family. He began to ask friends and anyone else he knew for blankets to help these poor people. Because of this one concerned boy, there is now an organization that helps homeless people by giving them blankets. Many people help homeless people in other ways also. Is there any way you can challenge the summit to help these kind of people? Summits are challenged in other ways also. Some people succeed, some fail, but everyone needs to try.
At this time, if anyone would like to stand and
May mean different things. On my last winter vacation, challenging the summit meant to go down that harder slope. To one of my dad's friends, it meant to become an astronaut and to pilot the space shuttle. To you, challenging the summit may mean becoming a veterinarian or completing medical school. Challenging the summit means to challenge the best, to go one-on-one with the top, and to be the best that you can be. To challenge your summit, you must do the best that you can. Challenging your summit may not always be easy. At times, it may mean having to give up extracurricular activities. The point I'm trying to make is to fulfill your dream and challenge your summit to the limit. Suppose you want to become the best baseball player in your league. To reach that summit, you may have to give up soft drinks and candy like a young man that plays for West Lauderdale League. The only thing he drinks now is milk and water. This young man has been doing this for about 6 years, and he has been practicing at baseball. The young man is now very good at baseball. As I mentioned earlier, one of my dad's friends' summit was to become an astronaut and to pilot the space shuttle. This man's name is Brewster Shaw, and he did reach his summit when he piloted the Challenger in space. Mr. Shaw did not reach his goal without a lot of training exercises. Some of the exercises Brewster went through were centrifuge and weightless training. The centrifuge exercise was a drill where someone put you in a chair with a rail around it so you would not fall out. They then spun you around very fast to test your body on the G-force. The weightless training was an exercise where the astronaut floated in a plane and the pilot tilted the nose of his plane downward enough where he felt weightless. As you can see, Mr. Shaw went through difficult training to become an astronaut. In the examples I gave smaller goals do not come out like you want them to, it does not mean you cannot succeed. For example, Colonel Sanders did not become a household name until he started a fried chicken business at the age of 69. Abraham Lincoln was an unsuccessful businessman and was defeated twice before he became the President of the United States. In my own life, our baseball team was playing in the championship game of the tournament, and we were down 10-2 in the 5th inning of the 7th ball. We came back to win the game and championship because we were taught to never give up. The moral of this is to give it all you've got and don't worry about what other people think. Challenge your summit to the limit.
Challenge the Summit. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration was established on October 1st, 1958 to make the United States the leading nation in the space sciences and in aeronautical research. NASA's dedicated men and women were determined to make the United States space program the best. The NASA program had been very successful in its 29 years of operation. It looked as though nothing would stop the fast-paced discovery of space technology. With 24 successful shuttle flights behind them and many more planned, NASA felt good. The 1986 calendar showed 15 shuttle flights on the boards, all of which were high-profile projects. A probing look into Halley's Comet and the launch of a revolutionary space telescope were two of the projects that were just an arm's reach away. Then, disaster struck. On the morning of January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger on mission 51L lifted off at 11:38 a.m. 73 seconds later, the mission ended in tragedy. America watched in disbelief and horror as the 7 brave astronauts died before their eyes. The accident happened so fast and was so sudden that the launch computers seemed unprepared to accept the tragedy. The clocks kept counting up the seconds since liftoff, and the computers kept trying to record flight data that was no longer there, as if holding out hope that it had all been a mistake. The equipment, like the people, could not accept a mission that went up but didn't come down. This mission was to be a special mission because on board was the first ordinary school teacher. Krista McAuliffe was chosen from more than 11,000 applicants to fly on Space Shuttle Flight number 25. She was to be our representative in space, an example to those that could not go because they are too young, or too old, or too timid, or too busy. Krista became loved and admired by the nation. There were 6 other astronauts on board that experienced the same fate as McAuliffe. Francis Dick Scobie was the commanding officer of the shuttle. As pilot of the Challenger in 1984, he guided the craft to where fellow crew members could retrieve a broken satellite. After completing the mission successfully, he told a friend he would give anything to experience the exhilaration of liftoff once again. He had no way of knowing the next time would be his last. Judith Resnick's job on the mission was to assist in taking photographs of Halley's Comet, among other tasks. Mission Specialist Resnick operated the remote control arm of the spacecraft. To her, danger was just another unknown to be mastered. Robert McNair became the second black man in space in 1984 aboard the Challenger. He once said, "True courage comes in enduring, persevering, and believing in oneself." Michael Smith said before the Challenger's liftoff, "Everybody looks at flying the shuttle as something dangerous, but it's not." Smith was doing exactly what he wanted to do. He looked past danger and stepped out with courage. Ellison Onizuka had the task of filming Halley's Comet with a handheld camera. He used to say, "There is no age cutoff for astronauts, nor is there for bravery." Gregory Jarvis was to conduct experiments to determine the effects of weightlessness on fluids contained in tanks aboard the shuttle. The day before the tragic launching, he commented, "I feel very, very comfortable." These 7 astronauts were all challengers of the summit. Their jobs required greater risks and bigger sacrifices than most others. Their courage, loyalty, and ambition should be an example to everyone. The The fact that our country and its people continue to take on exciting, difficult, and yes, dangerous challenges only gives more reason to continue. The 7 astronauts who perished in the Challenger explosion are symbols of what America stands for. Their loyalty to their country, their risks to provide new information, their ambition to go after their dreams, and their courage to face the unknown are what challengers at the summit are made of.
Hello, tonight I would like to speak to you on the topic Challenge the Summit. To me, Challenge the Summit means challenging my dreams at the highest point and my goals. As I strive for the top, I will not let any obstacle that is harmful get in my way of achieving my dreams. As I make it to the top, I won't ignore the hopes and dreams of my family and friends. Along the way, I will not let anyone intimidate me into giving up the hard stuff I have worked for. Challenging something is like challenging the highest mountain in the world, the toughest, the biggest, the ruggedest. It's best when you are doing something for yourself to do it your way, the right way, and the only way you can do it. Don't do it for someone else, but do it for you. It doesn't matter when you try to reach your goals, it's whether you at least try to reach your goals. Even though you are young once, the older you get, the more young you are in heart. There have been many people who have believed in their dreams and challenged their son. An example would be Dr. Martin Luther King, an early civil rights leader. When he was young, he was a young challenger who believed in freedom for all citizens. To get freedom for all citizens, he had to get his point to the highest courts or summit. He worked to his death trying to make freedom a reality. Even though he died, he made his dream a true reality. There is a lot of proof that you can show that you can make it to your summit. I always believe in the possible, not the impossible. Because the more you believe in the impossible, the more negative you are, and the more you rate yourself as a failure. And by believing in the possible, the more positive you are, and the more chance you have of making your goals and dreams a reality at their summit. So the more you believe in your dreams, the more you believe in your summit. Thank you.
Challenge the summit. What does that mean to you? I can tell you what it means to me. It means you must do your best, dare to dream, and try harder at things that are difficult for you. First, in order to dare to dream, you must dream and respect others and try to live that dream. To dream, you must first like yourself and to respect others. So if your dream calls on others to help that dream possible, you can make that dream possible by friendship. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that everyone would be equal and have an equal opportunity for colored people to live their lives just like any other people, any other human on the face of this earth. His dream was told to others across the United States and made others who had been treated bad during these years to stand up for themselves and for the rights of their Constitution. Then you must do your best. In order to do your best, you must do all you can and at the best of your ability. When Jack Young was working for Texas Instruments, he invented a calculator, which took the place of the sliding ruler. It is quicker and can multiply, divide, add, subtract, and many more operations. He received patents on his invention. He wanted to take the test to get into Massachusetts Institute for Technology. When he finally got to take the test, he had taken it and failed. He had to settle with the University of Illinois. Although Jack
people don't set goals for themselves. Some people are afraid to set goals for themselves because they are worried that other people will laugh at them if they fail. Others are afraid to set goals for themselves because they think if they succeed, people will expect more from them. And other people don't set goals for themselves because they're lazy. They don't want to work for their success. They want their accomplishments to be handed to them without personal effort and work. If you don't set goals for yourself, you won't see the best of yourself. People that don't set goals for themselves are the people that never accomplish great things for themselves. When you do set a goal for yourself, don't quit when you fail. Keep striving for success and the achievement of that goal. How could a boy who had only 3 months of formal school make so much difference in the world? At the age of 10, he knew what he wanted to do with his life. Experimenting for many years and with many different chemicals, he invented the light bulb. This man contributed to the world of science in many different ways. He also later invented the phonograph. How did this man, Thomas Edison, challenge the sun? Where would we be if he hadn't challenged the sun? What would have happened to the light bulb? What would have become of the phonograph? This is a good reason why people should challenge the sun. Who knows what contributions you can make to the world? Unless you challenge yourself, you will never know. A young man in Italy who had a strange notion about the shape of the world set out on a voyage to challenge the sun and prove his idea. His challenge was to prove that the world was round. Many people scoffed and laughed at him when he said he was going to prove the world was round. He didn't get discouraged because he knew he was going to do it no matter who laughed. One day he told the king and queen of his idea. They were interested and gave him the men, ships, and tools he needed to complete his quest. The journey was long and hard. His men were tired, hungry, and discouraged. Despite being threatened to be killed, he pushed and strove for his goal. One morning, they sighted land, and Christopher Columbus was credited with the discovery of a new continent. Where would the name Christopher Columbus be if he hadn't strove for his goal? When would the continent have been discovered? This is why people challenge the sun. Anybody could have discovered the new world, but Christopher Columbus had the determination and willingness to accomplish his goal. You also can do anything if you strive to accomplish your goal. I'm not saying it will be easy, but if you keep trying, you will probably achieve your goal. If you want to achieve your goal, you can't stop when times get hard. If you do, you will never achieve your goal. You have to make the best of the hard times and get what you can out of them. You may not always succeed, but you mustn't get discouraged. Everyone fails at something at one point in his or her life, but life still goes on. It isn't the end of the world if you fail. Don't be afraid to set a goal for yourself for any reason. You never know how it might turn out. Therefore, you should always challenge yourself to do the best you can possibly do.
And even death. I'm a teenager. I've never been introduced to drugs. Why? Because I know how to pick my friends. My friends and I know that drugs are dangerous. That's why we choose to stay away from them. Would you bother? Because we know how to say no. Face up to reality. Don't let drugs keep you from it. Picture yourself as a senior in high school. You're an honor student. You're popular. You have a perfect record in driving. You passed your driving test by landscape. But it only takes one person to introduce you to drugs, ruin it all. They can turn your A average into an F. You're popular, so drugs ruin it also. Drugs will make you greedy, so you only want more of everything. They will even turn you into a reckless driver. You may even take someone's life. And it's all because of those drugs. Like I said, I'm a teenager, not about to let no to drugs.
Challenge the sun. Many people challenge the sun. Many reach their goals. But in order to do this, they must first set their goal. The main people who should set them are children. We have our whole lives to fulfill them. And many of us can if we try. An 18th century Austrian boy had a dream of becoming a composer as his father before him was. At the age of 4, he could already play the violin and harpsichord and had composed his first minuet. When people first heard him, they were amazed that one so young could have composed such a piece of music. By the age of 12, he had composed and conducted a mass. This man was commonly known as the greatest musical genius of all time, and the so-called forerunner of the modern composers, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. An inventor of the 19th century, who planned his life at the age of 10. He began by selling vegetables to earn money. With this money, he bought chemicals and experimented in a basement. When he was 15, he set up a laboratory in the baggage car of the train. After a few years of his office setup, he earned money to establish a plant and began work on his many ideas. A great number of his inventions are important to us today. Because of his so-called bizarre ideas, life as we know it today is easier and more pleasant. This man, who was once considered retarded in school because of his many questions, was Thomas Alva Edison. People such as Mozart and Edison were often considered foolish or inferior because of their risk belief. In spite of this, they challenged the summit to fulfill their dreams. In time, their genius was recognized because of their strong belief in themselves. You may be thinking that this can only happen back then. If you are, you're wrong. No matter what others think about you and your goals, if you believe you can, you can. Whoever says different probably has no goal set for themselves. How do you think people like Bon Jovi and Kirk Cameron got where they are today? They didn't just wake up one morning and achieve instant fame. As young boys singing childhood songs and acting out their dreams, they realized that this is what they wanted their lives to be. Don't you think people laugh at their ideas and call their dreams foolish? But because they believed in what they were doing, they challenged the summit and reached the top. Every day, new opportunities open to us. Computer electronics, space exploration, and the many advances in medicine, science, and especially education supply us with an endless supply of choices. So the best thing to do is choose one, study hard, and keep working until it is accomplished. The future of our country depends on working hard to accomplish our goals. America was built on strength and dreams. If we continue to have our dreams and the strength to work hard, we can make them come true and keep America strong. With parents, teachers, and relatives at our side, we can successfully challenge the sun. Just like the little train that challenged the big hill, we think we can, we can. Challenge the sun. Somewhere between August 25th and October 31, 1451, the Italian was born in Genoa, then the capital of independent Italian Republic. His father was a wool weaver who took a leading
part in the affairs of his republic, of the affairs of his local guild. His mother was the daughter of a lord. The boy in my story was the eldest of 5 children. The next brother planned the great voyage with him and became his right-hand man in all his enterprises. The youngest brother helped him to rule Hispaniola. As a youth, he helped his father at Belum, but he had always longed to go to sea. Genoa was an important seaport. Genoese ships traded through the Mediterranean region. And many small boats sailed between and other coastal towns. He undoubtedly caught a ride with some of these boats when he was young and learned how to handle oars and sails. He had little schooling. The Genoese dialect that he spoke was almost a different language from Italian. When he went abroad and had to speak Spanish, he learned to read and write. He also taught himself Latin because geography books were written in Latin. No record is left about what sort of boy he was, but judging from his later life, he was dreamy and sensitive. The chance to go to sea came sometime between his 19th and 20th birthdays. When he shipped aboard a Genoese galley, the galley had been chartered by King Rene of Provence to punish the Barbary pirates. After that, he made 1 or 2 voyages to the island of Chios in the Aegean Sea. Then came a voyage that almost cost him his life. His ship formed a part of a convoy bound for Genoa to England. On August 13, 1476, the convoy was attacked by a Costa fleet of Lagos. Portugal, he was wounded and his ship sank. Jumping into the sea to grab a long oar, using the oar as a life preserver, he managed to reach shore. A few months later, he was a Portuguese vessel was docked at Galloway, in Ireland. The vessel sailed north of Iceland in February 1477, before returning to Lisbon. He was not trying to prove the world was round, and so has been said. He didn't have to, thinking people knew the world was round. He was just trying to find a short sea route to the Indies. Paolo Toscanelli, a learned man of Florence with whom he corresponded, believed that Japan lay only 3,000 nautical miles west of Lisbon, Portugal. He expected by sailing 2,400 nautical miles west along the latitudes of the Camargue Islands to reach a group of islands near Japan, where the natives would accept him as lord and master. Their plans to establish a great city for trade in products of the east and west. In the Philippines Islands, which Spaniards occupied more 60 years after his death, his dream was achieved. He had 3 vessels on his first voyage, the Pinta and the Nina and the Santa Maria. The Santa Maria was manned by 40 men, the Pinta by 26, and the Nina by 24. On October 10th, everyone agreed to sail on for 3 more days and then return if land were not found. The islands, which he named San Salvador, the Bahamas, was sighted by moonlight at 2 a.m. October 12th. Before noon that day, he landed on the beach at Ferdinand Bay. He took possession of the New World, as it proved to be, for Spain. He believed and always insisted that this was an island of the Indies, in Japan or China. He also believed that the gentle Arawak welcomed men from heaven. All they had were Indians. Men within 30 years knew that Christopher Columbus was wrong, but everyone has continued to call the native inhabitants of America Indians, and the islands he first reached the West Indies.
Challenge the sun. Since his creation, man has aimed for excellence. And without this aim for excellence, where would mankind be today? Man would certainly not be as advanced and intelligent as he is today. In fact, he still may be a caveman from the outer Neanderthal. This strive for excellence probably started when man became civilized. He began to travel together and depend on other men for safety. Man traveled or lived in groups called clans.
Within these clans, men began to compete against each other. In this, men tried to become better than other men. Everyone wanted to be better than everyone. In doing this, man gained knowledge and understanding. And over the years of competing and learning, he gained more knowledge and began looking at the world in a different way. Man began to compete with himself, and when he had outdone himself and beaten himself, he became better and more knowledgeable of the things around him. As man moved up, he found ways of doing things better than the way he had done them before. He began to farm and not depend upon hunting for his survival. He began to build tools and invent things to help him in his work and his way of life. In time, he began to form nations and countries, people. Later, men created more inventions to make life easier. In this, we got the inventions of the light bulb by Thomas Edison, the discovery of electricity by Benjamin Franklin, and the invention of the car by Henry Ford. All of these inventions made life much easier. These inventions still affect the way we live. These things that men have done in the past affect us today. So what we do today will affect other people in the next generation and for many generations to come. So we must strive for excellence, and we must teach the next generation to do this also in order to keep on improving. I'm sure that almost everyone in this room, or almost everyone in the world, has challenged himself in one way or the other. It could be in athletics, music, intelligence, grades, or even in the workplace. And when you do push yourself to a limit and keep on pushing, that is progress that you are making. This is why we must keep on challenging ourselves to make things better for ourselves and the next generation, and for many generations to come. So adults, teach my generation. Help us to discover what we can become under your guidance. Young people, take up the challenge of today. Strive for excellence in every action you take, every course you study. You and I are the future of mankind. Let us challenge the summit together.
We'll appreciate their help and taking their time out of their business schedule to come out and help in this contest. Our first judge is Mr. George Williams. I'd like him to stand when Mr. George Williams is a local attorney in Brooklyn. Mr. Max Stevens. Mr. Stevens is with the Southeastern Bank of Brooklyn, Mississippi. Mrs. Gloria Nelson. She is with the Friends of Children, Mississippi. Ms. Mary McCarty. Ms. McCarty is a school teacher at Beatport High School. And Mr. Donald Van. Mr. Van is with the Youth Court Council of Wayne County. I'd like to ask Mr. George Williams to come forward and say a few words.
Young men and women, I want to tell you that you made the judge's job very difficult. Each one of you were excellent. I think each one of you met your challenge tonight. And I commend you, and I salute you. The way they were judged, there was 4 different categories there. Personal qualities, which included appearance, poise, personality, and attitude, material, organization, the subject matter, theme, value, lighting, color, delivery, presentation, and voice, enunciation, pronunciation, gesture, and overall effectiveness, appeal, and impression. And we had to score each individual child, which was truly difficult for each one of us. It was the first for us, it's the first for them. And if nobody's ever stood in this position, it's hard to do, especially for really young people. I don't want to call you little people, you're young people. It was good, and I don't tell you it was good. And you can't have, everybody can't win the contest. But I want to tell you that you were so close, I could walk over, and I could reach out, and I could just pick up any one of you, and we would have a winner. And you would represent the school, and you would represent the school well. Now Now, we didn't know exactly how it would be taken care of at the end, but the way it's gonna be, you're gonna have, first, second place for the young men, and first, second place for the young women. And again, I commend you. I'd also like to take the opportunity to express our appreciation to Ms. Love Booth. I believe this is the first time we've ever had this contest, and I can foresee a really bright future for this. And you young people that won, I understand you go from here to where is it, David? All in Whitesboro. I'm sure you'll do well there, and I congratulate each one of you.
If there are any other judges that have comments, you're welcome to take a stand. Okay. Before I announce the winners of the contest, I'd like to once again tell the children we thank you all for participating. And I feel that each and every one of you are champions tonight, and that each and every one of you will go far. We will begin by announcing the runner-up of the girls. The runner-up of the girls is contestant G, Miss Laura Peck. The runner-up for the boys is Mr. John Reese. Second place for the girls is Miss Rena Burris. Second place for the boys is Mr. Henry Parker. First place for the girls is Miss Tracy Brown. And last but certainly not least, first place for the boys is Mr. Patrick Irving. At this time, I'd like the two first place winners, the first place girl and the first place boy, to come forward and say a few words. You'll be very brief.
I'd just like to thank Mrs. Harris, Mr. McClure, and my parents for all the help they gave me in this speech. And that's about it. Well, I'd like to thank my past English teachers, Ms. Patton, seventh grade, Ms. Campbell, and eighth grade, Ms. Burns, and my present English teacher, Ms. McKenzie, and she couldn't be here today. But what good she did have from high school, she influenced us.
As I said, none of these students are losers, and they're all winners, and will continue to win. And we'd like to give you a certificate of appreciation from our club. And like when I call your name, please come forward and accept your certificate. Mr. Ethan Worthington. Ollie Little. Sean Wright. Michael Donnell. Nelson Zamora. Bird. Carmichael. Elizabeth Carter. Greg Reed. Chadwick Young. Kelly Mathis. Brian Rhodes. James Jones. Belinda. I'm not going to destroy her name. Miss Murphy. Pronounce it right. Jason Pratt. Jennifer Davis. Tanya Fortis.